Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are really cutting through the noise to look at a truly singular document.
We are. We're talking about Warren E. Buffett's official address to Berkshire Hathaway shareholders, dated November 10th, 2025.
And this isn't, just some dry regulatory filing.
Oh, not at all. This is a monumental piece of communication. I mean, he's 95, and this message really serves as his capstone life lesson.
He's detailing his succession plan, accelerating this massive philanthropic action, and sharing his final, often very surprising, thoughts on business and life.
It is historic, and our mission today is to give you the shortcut, really, to understanding the three crucial pillars he laid out.
Okay, so pillar number one.
The public confirmation. Buffett is officially going quiet. That means the famous annual report, writing his marathon annual meeting commentary, that's largely over.
And second, Greg Abel officially becomes the boss at year-end.
That's the one.
And the third pillar, this is the massive, immediate financial action that really startled the financial world, right?
Exactly. The acceleration of his giving. He immediately converted 1,800 of his Class A shares into a staggering 2,700,000 Class B shares.
All for immediate donation to 4 family foundations.
Yep. He's making sure his children can disperse the vast majority of his estate while they are still, as he says, in their prime.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the transition, the leadership shift. Greg Abel has been the heir apparent for years, but this letter, it makes it official. He's the boss at the end of the year.
It's clear Buffett trusts him completely. I mean, he is incredibly high on Abel. He emphatically describes him as, and I'm quoting here, a great manager, a tireless worker, and an honest communicator.
And for shareholders, it's important that Buffett isn't just disappearing, is he?
No, not at all. He makes it explicit. He's stepping back from the big reports, but he says he will continue communicating through his annual Thanksgiving message. He still enjoys that personal touch point.
That continuity is reassuring. But Abel's succession, that wasn't the only major financial news here. Let's walk through the mechanics of this gift because the scale is just enormous.
It's crucial to understand it. When you hear that 1,800 Class A shares become 2.7 million Class B shares, you really have to grasp the value difference there.
The A shares are the originals, the ultra-expensive ones that almost never trade.
Exactly. And the conversion rate, 1 A share for 1,500 B shares, that's what gives the foundations the liquidity they need.
So why do the conversion at all? Why not just donate the A shares?
That's the key question. For practical distribution, the foundations need the B shares. They're lower priced, they're highly liquid, and they're just much easier to manage when you're giving away millions of dollars to hundreds of charities.
The A shares are just too illiquid.
And they carry too much voting power for this kind of mass disposal. So this conversion, which he did immediately, ensures the funds can be put to work fast.
And where is all this gargantuan value going specifically?
The lion's share, 1.5 million B shares, goes to the Susan Thompson Buffett Foundation.
Which focuses on reproductive health and education.
That's right. The rest, 1.2 million shares, are split equally between his 3 children's foundations. So that's 400,000 shares each, to the Sherwood Foundation, the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, and the Novo Foundation.
This really accelerates the timeline. I mean, most people in his position wait until death to trigger these transfers, so why the rush now? His kids are already very experienced philanthropists.
It comes down to control, timing, and most of all, trust. Buffett notes that his children are 72, 70, and 67.
They're at their absolute peak.
In terms of experience, wisdom, and energy. Exactly.
But hold on, isn't there an argument for delaying? I mean, wouldn't waiting potentially grow the estate even more with market returns, maximizing the gift? Why give that up now?
And that's where his deep philosophy comes in. He is genuinely afraid of what he calls ruling from the grave.
So it's not about the money, it's about the people.
It is. His concern is longevity. He knows he's been lucky, but he doesn't want to bank on his children having the same luck with aging. He wants them, specifically, to be the ones dispersing the estate.
Before alternate trustees, people who don't know the family or the strategy have to step in.
Precisely. It's not about optimizing the last dollar. It's about optimizing the certainty and the quality of the disbursement process.
Making sure the people he trusts are the ones steering the ship.
Exactly. And he says they can adapt to a changing world and, changing tax policies better than any rigid structure he could devise. Plus, they have years of practice already giving away more than $500 million a year.
He just wants them to improve on what other methods achieve.
He told them they don't need to perform miracles, just that.
Okay, moving from the balance sheet to the biography. The second half of this letter gets really personal. He starts with this gratitude for being alive at 95, and he links it back to a near-death experience in 1938.
Oh, the emergency appendectomy story is amazing. He had a bad bellyache. A doctor has a late-night second thought and rushes him to St. Catherine's Hospital.
And he ends up spending 3 weeks recovering in what he called a nunnery.
But he loved it. He said he had a captive audience. He discovered his love for talking, for being on a podium, and the nuns just embraced it.
And the detail that just brings this whole story to life, the gift from his Aunt Edie.
A professional-looking fingerprinting set.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He promptly fingerprints all the nuns.
His theory was...
What was it?
His totally nutty theory, as he calls it, was that one day a nun would go bad. The FBI would realize they never fingerprinted nuns, and J. Edgar Hoover himself would have to come inspect his invaluable collection in Omaha.
J. Edgar Hoover, I mean, that is a truly Omaha-sized ambition for a kid recovering from surgery.
It is, but what's fascinating is how he reflects on it now. The fantasy never happened, of course, but Buffett points out the deep irony. Years later, the world realized they should have been fingerprinting J. Edgar himself.
It's a subtle but powerful point about the failure of unchecked power.
Right. It connects that childhood hero worship to a very adult realization. And that focus on grounded, reliable character, it leads right into his next theme. This astonishing concentration of influential people who all grew up within blocks of him in Omaha. The magic of Omaha.
It really is a sociological anomaly. I mean, think about Charlie Munger. Lived just one block from the house Buffett bought in 1958, but they didn't meet until 1959.
But the connection goes back even further, doesn't it?
It does. Get this. Munger had worked at the Buffett family grocery store way back in 1940. He earned $2 for a 10-hour day.
Wow.
And Buffett highlights their 64 years of friendship, that foundational ethical code. They never had an argument. I told you so. Just wasn't in Charlie's vocabulary.
An incredible partnership. Who else was in this tiny Omaha bubble?
Span Lipsey, he grew up 5 blocks away, sold the Omaha Sun newspapers to Berkshire, then went out to turn the Buffalo Evening News into a massive success.
Generating over 100% pre-tax returns annually.
On a $33 million investment, yes. And Lipsey's neighbor, that was Walter Scott Jr., a lifelong friend who brought Mid-American Energy into Berkshire.
And the Coca-Cola connection is literally across the street.
Don Keough lived directly across from Buffett in 1959, back when he was a coffee salesman. He eventually became president of Coca-Cola.
And Buffett tells that great story about him and New Coke.
Oh, it's a classic. When they had to withdraw the product, Keough gave this incredibly candid speech. He cheerfully admitted that mail addressed simply to Supreme Idiot was being delivered right to his desk.
Which is such a brilliant insight into accountability. It shows the product belonged to the public and that executives needed the humility to admit a massive public failure.
It absolutely is. And this Omaha influence, it's not just history. Ajit Jain and the next CEO, Greg Abel, both lived in Omaha for years. Abel was just a few blocks away in the 90s.
It really does make you wonder, I mean, what is in the water in Omaha? Or is it a culture of, I don't know, grounded ethics that just seems to grow there?
That groundedness leads him directly into his most serious reflections on luck and his final business critiques.
It's a really powerful reflection on the unfairness of your starting position in life.
It is. He says he drew a ridiculously long straw at birth. Born in 1930, healthy, reasonably smart, white, male, and in America.
He stresses that lady luck is fickle and wildly unfair, and that so many of the rich and powerful get more than their share but rarely admit it.
And the contrast he makes with his own family is just so stark.
Yes, he makes a point of saying his sisters, who he says had equal intelligence and, better personalities, faced a much different outlook.
And that acknowledgement of unearned privilege really sets the tone for his final warnings to corporate America.
Moving into those, what struck me most was his critique of CEO compensation reform. He argues a really well-intentioned rule just backfired spectacularly.
This is classic Buffett, a classic behavioral observation. He's talking about the rule that requires companies to disclose CEO pay relative to the average employee.
The idea was to shame excessive pay, right? To promote moderation.
Exactly. Instead, he says, it fueled competitive envy and greed.
How? How did that happen?
It created what he calls a ratcheting effect. A CEO sees what his counterpart at a rival company is making, and he subtly communicates to his own compensation committee, which he often influences, that he deserves more.
So the disclosure didn't moderate pay.
It just gave everyone a transparent baseline to try and beat. The new rules produced envy, not moderation. It's a fascinating insight.
And he also issues this very solemn, incredibly difficult warning about the physical realities of aging leaders.
The dementia warning. It's tough, but it's vital. He stresses that boards and CEOs have to be alert for dementia, Alzheimer's, other diseases in leaders.
What makes it so profound is that he admits he failed to act.
He does. He says both he and Charlie Munger failed to act several times when they saw this problem at the subsidiary level. He uses their own failure as a warning to future boards to just speak up, no matter how uncomfortable it is.
So after all these critiques, these admissions, what's the ultimate outlook for Berkshire under Abel?
He's extremely bullish, but realistic. He says Greg Abel more than met his incredibly high expectations. He praises his quick learning curve, especially in the PC insurance business.
But he's also managing expectations about future returns.
He is. His prediction is clear. Berkshire's sheer size means many other companies will outperform it over the next decade.
But the trade-off is stability.
That's it. He asserts Berkshire has the least chance of a devastating disaster and the most shareholder-conscious management team. It's durability over speculative growth.
But then he gives that one final classic warning for investors.
The one every longtime follower knows well, yes. He says the stock price will move capriciously. It could fall 50% or so, as it has 3 times in 60 years.
And his advice?
It's simple, and it's rooted in the American dream. Don't despair. America will come back, and so will Berkshire shares. You just need the temperament to ignore those dramatic dips.
Let's wrap up with the philosophical core of this message, because the focus really shifts from net worth to, well, worthiness.
He gives this simple, profound advice to all shareholders. Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. Learn at least a little from them and move on. It is never too late to improve.
And he closes with what I call the ultimate life test, the one tied to Alfred Nobel.
Such a great story. Buffett recounts how Alfred Nobel supposedly read his own obituary by mistake, and that was the catalyst for him to change his legacy and fund the Nobel Prizes.
And Buffett's challenge to all of us is simple.
Decide what you would like your obituary to say, and then live the life that deserves it. He is so emphatic that greatness doesn't come from money or publicity or power.
The ultimate behavioral guide he offers.
Golden rule, as he puts it. Kindness is costless, but also priceless. It's just a beautiful way to tie a whole life together, from massive wealth accumulation to massive wealth redistribution.
It's a remarkable ending. It makes the whole thing feel like a blueprint for life, not just for running a conglomerate. The transition's final, the giving is accelerated because of trust, and the core lesson is defining your own legacy.
And it all circles back to mentorship. He advises you to choose your heroes very carefully. Mentioning Tom Murphy is a great example. So if you apply that obituary test today, what you want to be remembered for, and you look at your own heroes, what specific action could you take this week, inspired by your hero, to demonstrate the kind of kindness Buffett calls priceless? That's the real investment to mull over.